Isaiah Coleman, 16, steps onto a Horizon Airlines flight, phone filming Miami's tarmac, dreaming of his dad's New York skyline. Flight attendant Karen Walsh screams, spitting a vile racial slur, her face twisted with hate. Passengers freeze. Isaiah's livestream catches every word. She smashes his phone, glass splintering. Security hauls him off, cuffs slicing his skin. His father, Nathan, sees the viral clip, swearing vengeance. A text buzzes, "You're dead." Who's hunting Isaiah? Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from. If you stand for justice, hit like and subscribe for more gripping stories. Isaiah Coleman stumbles out of the Miami airport security office, wrists raw from cuffs, his cracked phone clutched tight. The memory of Karen Walsh's slur burning his ears. Nathan Coleman, his father, waits in a sleek black SUV, his tailored suit a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding outside. 6'3" with a tech empire worth billions, Nathan pulls Isaiah into a fierce hug, his voice low, promising justice. "They'll regret touching you," he says, eyes scanning the crowd. The live stream, now viewed by 10 million, spreads. Like wildfire across social platforms, clips of Karen's hate-filled outburst looping endlessly. By noon, hashtags trend worldwide, demanding Horizon Airlines accountability. Protesters swarm the terminal, their signs bold with slogans, voices chanting Isaiah's name. News vans clog the parking lot, reporters shouting questions as Nathan guides Isaiah through the throng, shielding him from flashing cameras. They retreat to a downtown hotel, its penthouse suite a fortress of glass and steel, but Isaiah's hands shake as he scrolls through messages of support mixed with vile threats. Nathan, pacing, calls his legal team, vowing to sue Horizon into oblivion, his words sharp as a blade. "This isn't just about you, son," he says, pointing to the city skyline. "It's about every kid they've crushed." Isaiah, inspired, records a raw video on his cracked phone, his voice steady despite the bruise blooming on his cheek. "I'm not a criminal," he says, staring into the lens. "I'm a 16-year-old who loves making films. They tried to silence me, but I'm still here." Uploaded, it rockets to 20 million views in hours, comments flooding with heart, emojis and clenched fists. Strangers share stories of Horizon's discrimination, from denied boardings to abusive staff, painting a pattern of systemic racism. Isaiah's chest swells with purpose, but the victory feels fragile. Victor Grayson, Horizon's CEO, watches from his Manhattan office, his silver hair gleaming under fluorescent lights, fingers drumming on a mahogany desk. A man who dines with senators, Grayson's power stretches beyond the airline, his influence woven into media and law enforcement. He smirks, uploading doctored footage to a major news site, showing Isaiah lunging at Karen, his face twisted in fake aggression. The clip, edited with chilling precision, spreads faster than Isaiah's truth, turning supporters into doubters. Cable anchors debate his violent behavior, and online trolls unleash a storm of slurs calling him a thug. Isaiah refreshes his feed, stunned, as the narrative shifts. Nathan slams his fist on the table, cursing Grayson's name, but the damage is done. At 2 in the morning, sirens wail outside the hotel. Police, armed with riot gear, storm the lobby, claiming Isaiah incited the protests, now deemed a riot. Nathan shoves legal papers at the lead officer, a burly man with a sneer, but the warrant lists Isaiah as a public threat. Flashlights blind them, boots thudding on marble floors. Isaiah's heart races, his mind replaying the airport cuffs, the slur, the text. "You're dead." Nathan whispers, "Run now." Isaiah bolts for the service stairs, his sneakers slipping on polished steps, as officers shout, their radios crackling with Grayson's orders. He ducks into a laundry room, hiding behind a stack of towels, sweat stinging his eyes. The door slams open, batons tapping walls, but a janitor, an older black woman with kind eyes, points to a fire exit. "Go, baby," she whispers, risking her job. Isaiah sprints down the alley, humid air thick in his lungs, the city's neon lights blurring past. He reaches a gas station, panting, and checks his phone, only to find his social media accounts hijacked, his profile picture replaced with a mocking caricature, posts spewing lies about his family. Notifications pile up, thousands of hateful messages drowning out the support. Alone, his back against a graffiti-covered wall, Isaiah grips the burner phone the janitor slipped him, its single contact labeled safe. Grayson's doctored. Video loops on a nearby TV, the gas station clerk eyeing him warily. Isaiah's fingers hover over the phone, fear battling resolve. He dials, voice trembling, and a woman answers, promising shelter. As he steps into the night, a police drone hums overhead, its red light locking onto him, Grayson's reach tightening like a noose. Isaiah runs, the burner phone his only lifeline, unaware that Grayson's next move will shatter everything he trusts. Isaiah Coleman crouches in a Miami safe house, a crumbling apartment with peeling wallpaper, the burner phone's dim glow his only comfort after the hotel raid. Nathan, his father, paces, his phone pressed to his ear, voice sharp as he negotiates with a network executive. "My son deserves to tell his side," he insists, securing a live interview on Channel 7's primetime slot with Ellen Price, a host known for her warm smile and tough questions. Isaiah's stomach churns, the memory of Grayson's doctored footage still stinging, painting him as a thug to millions. He replays his viral video, 20 million views strong, now drowned in hate from trolls. The safe house smells of mildew, and outside, protesters' chants echo, their signs demanding Horizon's downfall. Nathan kneels, gripping Isaiah's shoulders, his eyes fierce. "You're stronger than their lies, son. Speak your truth." Isaiah nods, pulling his hoodie tight, the bruise on his cheek throbbing. They slip out at dawn, dodging police drones, their SUV weaving through Miami's neon-lit streets to the studio. Security waves them in, but Isaiah notices a guard's cold stare, his radio crackling softly. The studio buzzes, lights blinding, makeup artists fussing over Isaiah's face. Ellen, in a crisp blazer, greets him with a handshake, her smile practiced. "We're rooting for you," she says, guiding him to a plush chair. Cameras roll, the audience hushed, and Isaiah's heart pounds as the red light blinks on. He starts strong, voice steady, recounting Karen Walsh's slur, the cuffs, the threats. "I'm just a kid who loves filming," he says, holding up his cracked phone. "They twisted my story to silence me." The audience claps, some wiping, tears, and Isaiah feels a spark of hope. Ellen leans in, eyes soft, asking about his dreams. He talks about filmmaking, his vision for stories that uplift his community, and the crowd roars. But then, her tone shifts, sharp as a blade. "Some say you provoked the flight attendant," she says, a screen flashing Grayson's doctored clip. Isaiah's face warped to look menacing. Gasps ripple through the studio. Isaiah freezes, his words catching, as Ellen presses, "Did you escalate it, Isaiah? Were you angry?" The audience murmurs, doubt creeping in. He stammers, "That's not me." But she cuts him off, airing a passenger's testimony claiming Isaiah shouted first, another Grayson lie. Isaiah's chest tightens, betrayal sinking in. Ellen's smile never wavers, but her eyes glint with malice. The director signals a break, but before Isaiah can stand, armed security bursts through the studio doors, their vests marked with Horizon's logo. "He's a threat," one shouts, tasers drawn, boots stomping. The audience screams, chairs toppling, as Nathan lunges to shield Isaiah. "He's a kid," Nathan roars, but a guard shoves him down, blood trickling from his brow. Isaiah bolts, adrenaline surging, dodging a taser's prongs that spark against a camera. He dives behind a set, plywood props crashing, and spots a ventilation grate in the floor. Heart hammering, he pries it open, fingers slipping on rusted metal, and crawls inside, the shaft's cold steel pressing his ribs. Shouts fade as he shimmies through dust and cobwebs, the burner phone clutched tight. He emerges in an alley, gasping, Miami's humid air thick with salt and exhaust. Nathan's voice echoes in his mind, but a news alert buzzes. Grayson has frozen Nathan's bank accounts, citing suspicious activity, crippling their lawsuit. Isaiah's knees buckle, the weight of Grayson's power crushing him. Horizon's CEO, with his senator friends and media puppets, seems untouchable, his lies spreading faster than truth. Isaiah stumbles through the alley, past overflowing dumpsters, when a protester, a young woman with braided hair and a clenched fist, slips him a new burner phone. "Keep fighting," she whispers, vanishing into the crowd. Isaiah grips the phone, its screen blank, and checks his old one, finding Grayson's latest smear, a fake post from Isaiah's hacked account confessing to starting the incident. Rage burns through him, but fear follows, the drones from last night still haunting. He ducks into a bodega, the clerk eyeing him warily, a TV blaring Ellen's voice calling him troubled. Isaiah's reflection in the glass door shows a kid pushed to the edge, yet his father's words linger. "You're stronger." He dials the new burner's only contact, a voice promising a safe route to regroup. As he steps out, a police siren wails nearby and a shadow moves in the alley. Grayson's reach tightening. Can Isaiah trust this new lifeline, or is it another trap? If you're furious at Ellen's betrayal, comment number 1 to stand with Isaiah's fight for truth. Like and subscribe to follow his battle against a system rigged to break him. Will this new contact lead Isaiah to safety or straight into Grayson's next ambush? Isaiah Coleman huddles in a Miami alley, the new burner phone's faint buzz his only tether to hope, its single contact guiding him to a new safe house after Ellen Price's televised betrayal. The air reeks of rotting fruit and diesel, and his sneakers stick to the pavement, still damp from the ventilation shaft's grime. Nathan, his father, meets him in a boarded-up barbershop, its mirrors cracked, the smell of old pomade lingering. Nathan's suit is wrinkled, his eyes bloodshot, from battling Grayson's bank account freeze, but his voice is steel. "We're hitting back, son," he says, outlining a plan to buy Horizon Airlines' plummeting stock, enough to seize control and fire Victor Grayson, the CEO whose doctored footage turned Isaiah into a pariah. Nathan's tech empire, though, battered, still commands billions, and he's rallied loyal investors to fund the takeover. Isaiah, 16, feels the weight of their fight, his arm itching where the studio's taser grazed him. The barbershop's radio crackles, reporting protests swelling across Miami, fueled by Grayson's leaked emails exposing Horizon's racist hiring. Nathan hands Isaiah a megaphone, saying, "They need your voice." By noon, they head to Liberty Park, a sprawling green space where thousands gather, their signs blazing with demands for justice, voices chanting Isaiah's name. The crowd parts as Isaiah climbs a makeshift stage, his hoodie swapped for a clean shirt, though the bruise on his cheek still pulses. He grips the megaphone, heart racing, and speaks, his words raw. "Horizon tried to break me, called me a thug, but I'm still standing," he says, holding up his cracked phone, its shattered screen a symbol of their fight. The crowd roars, fists raised, some live streaming, their feeds pushing the rally to 30 million views. Isaiah calls for a boycott, urging supporters to ground Horizon's flights, and the energy surges, a sea of hope against Grayson's lies. Nathan backstage nods, his phone buzzing with stockbrokers confirming purchases, Horizon's shares dipping lower. But Grayson, in his Manhattan penthouse, watches the rally on a wall of screens, his jaw tight, fingers dialing a contact in, the Securities and Exchange Commission. With a senator's backing, he bribes regulators to flag Nathan's stock buys as insider trading, halting the deal in hours. The news breaks mid-rally, a reporter shouting the update, and murmurs ripple through the crowd. Isaiah pushes on, rallying, louder, unaware of a glint in the park's tree line, a sniper's scope catching the sun. Grayson's orders were clear: scare the kid, break the movement. A crack splits the air, and pain sears Isaiah's arm, blood soaking his sleeve as he dives behind a speaker. The crowd screams, scattering, parents shielding kids, phones dropping. Isaiah crawls, dirt smearing his face, the megaphone abandoned, its feedback screeching. He stumbles into a food truck parked nearby, its driver, a grizzled man with a limp, yanking him inside. "Stay low," the man grunts, slamming the door as bullets ping the truck's side. Isaiah's arm throbs, the graze shallow but burning, his breath ragged. Through a cracked window he sees flames erupt, Grayson's hired thugs torching the stage, their faces masked but one voice chillingly familiar. Karen Walsh, the flight attendant whose slur started it all, rips off her mask, screaming racial venom, her eyes wild as she leads the mob. The crowd flees, trampled signs smoldering, and Isaiah's hope crumbles, the rally's triumph consumed by fire. The driver hands him a rag to press against his arm, muttering about Grayson's reach, how the CEO's goons have burned other protests. Isaiah's phone buzzes, a news alert confirming the regulators' block. And worse, Nathan's investors, spooked by the sniper and Grayson's smears, are pulling out, their funds vanishing like smoke. The food truck rumbles, weaving through back streets, the driver dropping Isaiah at a shuttered warehouse, its rusted door creaking. Inside, a flickering bulb reveals a cot and a first aid kit, but no Nathan, no plan. Isaiah bandages his arm, wincing, the sting of Karen's voice echoing, her hatred now a mob's weapon. Grayson's power feels infinite, his bribes locking regulators, his thugs turning peaceful rallies into war zones. Isaiah checks the burner phone, its battery low, and finds a text from the protester. "Lie low. We're regrouping." His sister's face flashes in his mind. Safe in New York. But for how long? The warehouse's shadows close in. The distant wail of sirens growing louder, and Isaiah grips the phone, his pulse a drumbeat. Grayson's sniper missed, but the next shot won't, and Nathan's takeover is crumbling. Isaiah's resolve hardens, his filmmaker's eye imagining a new video, on to expose Karen's mob, but the warehouse door rattles, a shadow moving outside, Grayson's hunters closing in. Isaiah Coleman slumps against the warehouse wall, the bandage on his arm stiff with dried blood, the echo of Karen Walsh's hateful screams from the burning park stage haunting him. The burner phone vibrates, its screen cracked but alive, relaying Nathan's urgent message to meet at a new safe house, a condemned motel on Miami's outskirts, its neon sign flickering in the humid night. Isaiah slips through back streets, dodging police drones, their red beams slicing the darkness, his hoodie soaked with sweat. Nathan waits in a musty room, his face haggard but eyes alight, legal papers strewn across a wobbly table. "We've got them," he says, explaining their lawyers exploited a loophole, winning a federal injunction to ground Horizon Airlines flights for discriminatory practices, a ruling handed down hours ago after Grayson's regulator bribes backfired. The news hits Isaiah like a lifeline, his heart lifting for the first time since the sniper's bullet grazed him. Outside, Miami buzzes with celebration, protesters cheering as Horizon's planes sit idle, their engines cold. The boycott, Isaiah, sparked now crippling the airline's revenue. Nathan's phone pings with updates. 35 million have viewed Isaiah's rally speech, despite the mob's chaos, and supporters flood social media with plain emojis crossed out. Isaiah, inspired, sets up his cracked phone, its lens smudged, and films a victory speech, his voice raw but defiant. "We stopped Horizon today," he says, standing by the motel's grimy window, city lights glinting behind him. "They called. Me, a criminal, shot at me, but we're winning." He uploads it from a borrowed laptop, the video rocketing to 40 million views, comments pouring in, calling him a hero. Strangers share stories of Horizon's cruelty, from fired black pilots to harassed passengers, fueling the movement. Isaiah's chest swells, the bruise on his cheek fading in the glow of hope, and Nathan claps his shoulder, promising Grayson's days are numbered. But Victor Grayson, in his Manhattan war room, surrounded by screens and lackeys, smirks, his silver hair catching the light as he finalizes a new plan. With a tech firm in his pocket, he fabricates evidence tying Isaiah to a cyber attack that crashed Horizon's booking system, a lie built on forged IP addresses and fake chat logs. The evidence, leaked to the FBI, paints Isaiah as a mastermind, not a 16-year-old filmmaker. Grayson's media allies amplify the story, cable networks flashing teen terrorist headlines, erasing the injunction's triumph. At 3 a.m, the motel's door splinters, FBI agents in tactical gear storming in, their rifles trained on Isaiah and Nathan. "Hands up," an agent barks, his visor reflecting Isaiah's terrified face. Nathan shoves legal papers forward, shouting about the injunction, but the lead agent, a wiry man with a southern drawl, slaps them away, cuffing Nathan with a sneer. "You're done, Coleman," he says, accusing Nathan of funding Isaiah's attack. Isaiah's mind races, the sniper's glint and Karen's mob flashing back, Grayson's invisible hand tightening. An agent grabs him, but Nathan's eyes lock on his, mouthing, "Run." Isaiah twists free, diving through a bathroom window, glass cutting his palm as he lands in a dumpster, the stench of rotting food choking him. He sprints, legs burning, into a nearby subway station, its fluorescent lights flickering, commuters staring as blood drips from his hand. He ducks into a tunnel, the rumble of an approaching train masking his footsteps, rats scurrying in the dark. The tunnel's damp walls close in, graffiti spelling out warnings, and Isaiah's breath hitches, fear clawing his chest. His burner, phone buzzes, a news alert showing Grayson's press conference, labeling Isaiah a terrorist mastermind, his face plastered across every channel. A hacked billboard outside the station flashes his photo, wanted in bold red, the reward $10 million, turning every stranger into a hunter. Isaiah's video, once a beacon, is buried under Grayson's lies, comments now spewing hate, calling for his arrest. He crouches behind a rusted rail car, the tunnel's cold biting his skin, and checks the burner phone, its signal weak. Grayson's tech firm, he realizes, is tracking it, pinging his location with every call. The injunction's victory, so bright. Hours ago, lies in ashes, Nathan in cuffs, their safe house raided, and Isaiah alone, a fugitive in his own city. His sister's smile flickers in his mind, safe for now. But Grayson's reach grows longer. The subway's rumble fades, and footsteps echo, heavy boots in the tunnel, flashlights cutting the gloom. Isaiah's vow to fight burns through his fear, his filmmaker's instinct urging him to record, expose, resist. He pockets the phone, its battery at 5%, and slips deeper into the tunnel, the air thick with mold and menace. Grayson's terrorist label sticks, the billboard's red glow seeping into his nightmares. But Isaiah's resolve hardens, a spark in the dark. The footsteps grow closer, a radio crackling with Grayson's orders, and Isaiah knows the next trap will be deadlier, his father's fate hanging in the balance. Isaiah Coleman crouches in the Miami subway tunnel, the damp chill seeping through his hoodie, his cracked burner phone flickering with a weak signal as Grayson's wanted billboard haunts his mind. The tunnel's darkness presses in. Rats, skittering past, their eyes glinting like the FBI's flashlights from the motel raid. His hand, still bleeding from the glass cut, trembles as he dials the burner's last contact, the voice from the protester promising sanctuary. A woman answers, her tone clipped but urgent, directing him to a derelict warehouse in Overtown, 3 miles away. Isaiah sprints, the train's rumble masking his steps, emerging into a humid night where police sirens wail, their red and blue lights painting the skyline. He weaves through alleys, dodging drones, their hum a constant threat, until he reaches the warehouse, its rusted doors creaking under graffiti tags. Inside, a dim glow reveals a hacker collective, 6 figures hunched over laptops, their screens casting eerie shadows. Zoe, their leader, a wiry black woman with a buzz cut and piercing eyes, greets him, her voice low. "You're the kid Grayson's hunting," she says, offering a nod, not a smile. The collective, calling themselves ShadowNet, has tracked Horizon's crimes for years, and Zoe shows Isaiah files proving Grayson's ties to a racist lobbying group pushing anti-minority laws. His heart races, the weight of Nathan's arrest and the cyber attack frame up fueling his resolve. Zoe outlines a plan to hack Grayson's private server and leak his emails, exposing his lobbying bribes to millions. Isaiah, his filmmaker's instinct kicking in, volunteers to record the operation, envisioning a viral expose. The warehouse hums with code, keyboards clacking, as ShadowNet breaches Horizon's firewall, their screens flashing green. Isaiah films, his phone's battery at 4%, capturing Zoe's commands and the team's tense focus. The emails load, detailing Grayson's payments to senators, but a sudden crash shatters the moment. Grayson's mercenaries, clad in black tactical gear, storm the warehouse, their boots splintering crates, flashbangs blinding the hackers. "Burn it!" a mercenary shouts, and flames erupt, servers sparking as data fries. Isaiah grabs a USB drive, half the emails downloaded, and follows Zoe, dodging gunfire, their lungs burning from smoke. They dive into a trapdoor, landing in a sewer, its fetid water soaking their clothes, the stench gagging them. The tunnel's slime coats Isaiah's sneakers, His arms graze, throbbing, but Zoe pulls him forward, her flashlight cutting the dark. Mercenaries pursue, their shouts echoing, and Isaiah's pulse hammers, the USB clutched tight. They reach a ladder, but a mercenary grabs Zoe, yanking her back, her scream piercing. Isaiah hesitates, torn, but she yells, "Go!" He scrambles, up emerging in a junkyard, rusted cars looming like ghosts. Alone, he checks the USB, finding partial emails, enough to hurt Grayson but not destroy him. His burner buzzes, a live feed from Grayson's media empire, showing Zoe chained in a warehouse, her face bloodied, Grayson's voice taunting, "Tell me where the kid is." The broadcast, viewed by 50 million, breaks Isaiah's spirit, guilt crashing over him for leaving her. He stumbles through the junkyard, tires crunching underfoot, when a text reveals Grayson's latest blow. His cousin Malik, 17, framed for drug trafficking, arrested hours ago. Isaiah's knees buckle, Malik's goofy grin flashing in his mind, the cousin who taught him to skateboard now facing years in prison. Grayson's reach, from mercenaries to false charges, feels like a noose, each move crueler than the last. The junkyard silence is broken by a dog's bark, and Isaiah hides behind a wrecked van, the USB his only weapon. The emails mention a lobbying group's plan to gut black communities' voting rights, tying Grayson to systemic racism beyond Horizon. Isaiah's vow to fight, born in the subway tunnel, burns brighter, but the burner's signal pings, Grayson's tech firm tracking him again. He smashes the phone, its screen shattering, and runs, the junkyard's fence rattling as he climbs, sirens growing louder. Zoe's capture, Malik's arrest, and Nathan's cuffs weigh on him, but his filmmaker's eye sees a story untold, a truth Grayson can't burn. The city's neon glow beckons, but a mercenary's flashlight sweeps the junkyard. Grayson's hunters closing in, their radios crackling with orders to kill. If you're outraged by Grayson's merciless hunt, comment number 1 to stand against his lies. Like and subscribe to follow Isaiah's desperate fight for justice. Can Isaiah use the USB's secrets to strike back, or will Grayson's next trap bury him for good? Isaiah Coleman sprints through Miami's pre-dawn streets, the USB drive with Grayson's partial emails burning a hole in his pocket, the junkyard's mercenary flashlight still searing his memory, Zoe's bloodied face on Grayson's broadcast, and his cousin Malik's arrest twist his gut, each step fueled by rage and guilt. The city hums with tension, police drones buzzing overhead, their red beams hunting him as the wanted billboard's glow fades behind. His smashed burner phone is useless, but the protester's text echoes, "Lie low, we're regrouping." He ducks into a public library, its glass doors smudged, the air thick with dust and old paper. The library's computers, ancient and whirring, offer anonymity, and Isaiah, his hoodie pulled low, plugs in the USB, heart pounding. The emails load, fragments of Grayson's orders to Horizon's HR, reject black applicants, fire minority staff, prioritize loyal hires. One email sent to a lobbying group brags about rigging job quotas to keep the airline pure. Isaiah's hands shake, the words a slap, tying Grayson's racism to Horizon's core. His filmmaker's instinct kicks in, and he uploads the emails to a whistleblower site, typing a headline, "Horizon's Secret Hate." The post spreads, 60 million views in hours, hashtags exploding, boycotts surging. Social media floods with plane emojis slashed red, and news ticker report Horizon's stock crashing. More flights grounded as passengers walk away. Isaiah refreshes the page, seeing strangers share screenshots, their outrage matching his, some posting videos of empty Horizon terminals. The library's fluorescent lights flicker, and a librarian, an older Latina with a kind smile, slips him a granola bar, whispering, "You're doing good, kid." For a moment, Isaiah feels the tide turning, the emails cutting Grayson deeper than the injunction did. But Victor Grayson, in his Manhattan lair, watches the leak's fallout, his fingers gripping a whiskey glass, eyes narrowed. He dials a fixer, a shadowy figure with bomb-making skills, and plants a device at Isaiah's old high school, a brick building in Liberty City where Isaiah once filmed skits with Malik. The bomb, timed for morning classes, is rigged to look like Isaiah's work, Grayson's tech firm forging texts linking him to the plot. At 8, as Isaiah slips out of the library, a news alert buzzes his borrowed phone. Explosion at Liberty City High. His blood runs cold, Malik's laugh echoing. The school's halls where they dodged bullies now a trap. He sprints 5 miles, legs burning, reaching the school as sirens wail, smoke billowing from the gym. Kids scream. Teachers herd them out, and Isaiah dives through a side gate, ignoring the pain in his grazed arm. The gym's roof collapses, debris flying, and he pulls a trapped freshman from rubble, her eyes wide with terror. "Run!" he yells, shoving her toward safety, dodging a falling beam that grazes his shoulder, dust choking his lungs. Firefighters shout, but police swarm, their radios crackling with Grayson's narrative. Isaiah's the bomber. He stumbles into a classroom, heart hammering, and Ms. Rivera, his old English teacher, locks the door, her face stern but kind. "Hide," she whispers, pointing to a supply closet. Isaiah curls up among mops and bleach, the closet's darkness swallowing him. His breath shallow as boots thud outside. Ms. Rivera distracts the cops, claiming she saw some kid flee, buying him time. Through a vent, Isaiah hears a TV, Grayson's voice spinning the bombing as Isaiah's revenge for the wanted label. His media empire churning lies faster than the emails spread truth. A new alert pings. Grayson's framed Isaiah's mother, Angela, a nurse, as a drug dealer, planting evidence in her hospital locker, suspending her license. Isaiah's chest tightens, Angela's warm hugs flashing, her night shifts to pay for his camera now a target. The boycott's momentum, so fierce hours ago, falters under Grayson's terror narrative, social media turning, some calling Isaiah a danger. His location leaks, a library IP traced by Grayson's tech firm, and police sirens grow closer, their lights flashing through the closet's vent. Ms. Rivera slips him a key to her car, parked out back, her eyes fierce. "Keep fighting," she says, risking her job. Isaiah crawls through a window, glass scraping his palms, and sprints to the car, a beat-up sedan smelling of coffee and chalk. He drives, knuckles white, the USB still in his pocket, its emails a fading spark. Grayson's bomb has turned his school into a war zone, his mother into a criminal, and him into a ghost. Every ally a risk. The car's radio blares a pundit praising Grayson's swift response, and Isaiah's rage surges, his vow to fight now a flicker in the chaos. He ditches the car in an alley, the city's neon blurring through tears, and slips into a storm drain, its damp walls echoing the subway tunnel's dread. Police choppers hum above, their spotlights sweeping, and Isaiah's shoulder throbs. The beams graze a new scar. The email's leak was a blade, but Grayson's bomb was a sledgehammer, and Angela's suspension cuts deeper than Malik's arrest. He clutches the USB, its plastic warm, and whispers Nathan's words. "You're stronger." But the drains. Shadows shift, a flashlight's beam cutting through. Grayson's hunters tracking the car, their radios hissing with orders to end him. Isaiah Coleman crawls through the storm drain, its slimy walls scraping his grazed shoulder, the flashlight beam from Grayson's hunters searing his memory as he flees the school bombing's chaos. The USB drive tucked in his pocket holds Grayson's leaked emails, but his mother Angela's drug smear and the rubble of Liberty City High weigh heavier. Each step a fight against despair. Miami's humid air chokes him as he emerges in an industrial lot, rusted cranes looming like skeletons, the distant chop of police helicopters pulsing in his ears. His sneakers, caked with mud, slip on gravel, and he ducks behind a shipping container, heart hammering, the faint buzz of Ms. Rivera's car keys still in his mind. The USB's secrets, exposing Horizon's racist hiring, sparked 60 million views, but Grayson's bomb turned triumph to ash, and Angela's suspension cuts deeper than Malik's arrest. Isaiah checks his borrowed phone, its screen cracked, hoping for news of Nathan, but a trap springs instead. A van screeches, its headlights blinding, and mercenaries in black masks swarm, their tasers crackling. Isaiah bolts, legs burning, but a net gun fires, tangling his ankles, and he crashes, asphalt tearing his palms. They drag him, bound and gagged, to an off-grid warehouse, its concrete walls stained with oil, the air thick with rust and fear. Inside, Victor Grayson waits, his silver hair gleaming under a single bulb, his tailored suit mocking Isaiah's bloodied hoodie. Karen Walsh, The flight attendant whose slur ignited this nightmare stands beside him, her sneer sharper than ever, eyes glinting with hate. "You thought you could ruin me?" she spits, her voice a venom Isaiah knows too well. Grayson smirks, nodding to a camera, its red light blinking. Live streaming to 70 million viewers, the feed titled, "Terrorists End." The warehouse echoes with their taunts, and Isaiah, chained to a chair, feels the weight of Grayson's power, senator allies and media puppets bending the world to his will. They torture him, Karen's fist splitting his lip, blood dripping as she screams slurs, each word a blade carving his spirit. Grayson kneels, his breath hot, whispering, "Your father's finished." He reveals Nathan's new frame-up, embezzlement, forged records showing he siphoned billions, facing life in a federal prison. Isaiah's chest caves, Nathan's fierce, hugs and promises of justice crumbling, the motel's victory speech a distant dream. Grayson's mercenaries tighten the chains, metal biting Isaiah's wrists, and Karen grabs his cracked phone, the one that filmed his 40 million view speech. Dousing it with gasoline, she lights a match, the flames devouring his evidence, his videos, his voice, the smoke stinging his eyes. Isaiah's vision blurs, hunger gnawing his stomach. 3 days since the library's granola bar, his body weak but mind racing. He scratches at the concrete floor, nails breaking, carving "I won't break" with a jagged pebble. The words a silent vow as Grayson laughs. The live stream's comments flooding with hate. Viewers buying the terrorist lie. Karen kicks him, her boot cracking a rib, and Isaiah gasps, pain exploding. Malik's grin and Angela's warmth fading in the haze. The warehouse's shadows dance, Grayson's voice droning about, cleaning the city. His lobbying group's racist laws, now a backdrop to Isaiah's suffering. A faint radio crackles in a mercenary's pocket, a garbled voice mentioning Zoe, the hacker, alive but hidden, a spark in the dark. Isaiah clings to it, Zoe's scream in the sewer echoing, her sacrifice fueling his resolve. Grayson's plan, to break him live, backfires as Isaiah's carved words gleam, a defiance the camera can't hide. Karen's rage peaks, her fist raised, but Grayson stops her, wanting Isaiah alive to suffer. They leave him chained, the livestream looping, his bloodied face a spectacle for millions. The warehouse's bulb flickers, plunging him into darkness. The radio's hint of Zoe barely audible over his ragged breaths. His mother's frame-up, Nathan's prison fate, and Malik's arrest pile like boulders. Grayson's empire crushing all he loves. The USB still in his pocket is useless without a computer, and his phone's ashes mock his filmmaker's dream. Isaiah's rib throbs, each breath a knife, but his vow holds, carved into the floor, a promise to fight despite the chains. The warehouse's silence is broken by a distant clang, a door creaking, and Isaiah tenses, Grayson's mercenaries returning or something else, the faint radio signal his only clue. Zoe's survival a thread in the void. Isaiah Coleman lies chained in the off-grid warehouse, his cracked rib screaming with each shallow breath, the words, "I won't break," carved into the concrete floor glowing faintly under the flickering bulb. Grayson's livestream torture and Nathan's embezzlement frame-up crushing his spirit. The ashes of his burned phone sting his eyes, Karen Walsh's slurs echoing. But the radio's hint of Zoe's survival flickers like a pulse in the dark. The warehouse's silence shatters with a muffled thud, the creaking door from moments ago now a violent crash, and Isaiah tenses, expecting Grayson's mercenaries. Instead, a figure slips through, a tall black man in a pilot's jacket, his face scarred but eyes steady. "Stay quiet, kid," he whispers, cutting Isaiah's chains with a bolt cutter, metal clanking softly. He introduces himself as Malik Jackson, a former Horizon pilot fired for calling out their racist policies, now a rogue avenger tracking Grayson's crimes. Isaiah's heart leaps, the radio's clue clicking into place, Zoe's network somehow reaching him. Malik, moving with a limp from an old crash, hands Isaiah a water bottle, its coolness a shock after days of starvation. They creep through the warehouse, past crates reeking of oil. Malik's flashlight revealing a back office, its door ajar. Inside, Grayson's laptop sits, unguarded, its screen locked but humming. A slush fund's records within reach. Isaiah's filmmaker's instinct flares, seeing a chance to expose Grayson's bribes to senators and lobbyists. The USB's partial emails now a prelude. Malik hacks the password, his fingers deft despite his limp, and they download files detailing millions funneled to a racist lobbying group, funds masking as consulting fees. The laptop's fan whirs, a countdown to discovery, and Isaiah copies the data to a fresh USB, his hands shaking, blood from his torn palms smearing the keys. Alarms blare, red lights flashing as Grayson's mercenaries storm back, their radios crackling with fury. Malik grabs the laptop, shoving Isaiah toward a fire exit, but drones swarm outside, their propellers slicing the humid Miami night, red lasers locking onto them. They sprint to a stolen van parked in the lot, its engine coughing, and Malik floors it, tires screeching as drones pursue, their cameras streaming to Grayson's network, 80 million watching the chase. Isaiah clutches the USB, his ribs stabbing with each jolt, the laptop sliding on the dashboard. The van weaves through industrial streets, cranes and smokestacks blurring, but a drone fires a dart, puncturing a tire, and the van swerves, crashing into a riverbank, icy water flooding the cabin. Isaiah gasps, the cold shocking his wounds, and Malik, bleeding from a gash on his arm, pulls him to the surface, the laptop sinking, lost. They swim, lungs burning, to a muddy shore, drones circling but losing them in the fog. Isaiah's teeth chatter, the USB miraculously dry, its data intact, but a new horror hits. Grayson's broadcast, hijacked mid-chase, shows Angela, Isaiah's mother, bound in a basement, her nurse's scrubs torn, Grayson's voice demanding, the laptop. The feed, viewed by 90 million, twists Isaiah's gut. Angela's gentle smile from childhood now a hostage's fear, her drug smear paling against this kidnapping. Malik, coughing blood, reveals the lobbying group's plan, buried in the USB's files, rigging a Senate race to install a racist candidate, cementing Grayson's power. Isaiah's resolve hardens, but Malik's wound, a shard from the crash, slows him, his face pale as they stumble to a church, its stained glass windows glowing in the dawn. The pastor, a grizzled man with a limp like Malik's, hides them in a basement, the smell of candle wax and old hymnals calming Isaiah's racing pulse. He scans the USB, confirming the Senate plot, each email a nail in Grayson's empire. But Angela's captivity claws his mind, Grayson's demand for the laptop a trap he can't ignore. Malik slumps, his arm infected, fever rising, and Isaiah bandages him, guilt surging for dragging another ally into danger. Zoe's scream still raw. The church's silence feels fragile, police sirens wailing outside, Grayson's drones likely tracking the van's wreckage. Isaiah's cracked rib and torn palms ache, but his vow, carved in the warehouse, burns. Expose Grayson, save Angela, free Nathan. The pastor slips him a burner phone, its single contact unknown, and Isaiah hesitates. The USB his only leverage. Malik's weakening gasps a ticking clock. The church's walls creak, a shadow passing the windows. Grayson's hunters closing in, their radios hissing with orders to retrieve the data at any cost. If you're heartbroken by Angela's kidnapping, comment number 1 to demand justice. For Isaiah's family, like and subscribe to follow his race against Grayson's ruthless empire. Will Isaiah trade the USB to save his mother, or risk everything to expose Grayson's Senate scheme? Isaiah Coleman huddles in the church basement, the USB drive's weight heavy in his pocket, its data on Grayson's slush fund, and Senate rigging a ticking bomb as Angela's kidnapped image burns his mind, her bound hands a cruel echo of his warehouse chains. Malik the rogue pilot slumps against a pew, his infected arm feverish, his gasps sharp in the candlelit air, the pastor's burner phone their only link to the outside. Isaiah's cracked rib throbs, his torn palms stinging, but the church's stained glass glow steadies him. Nathan's words, "You're stronger," battling the despair of Angela's captivity and Malik's cousin's arrest. The pastor, his face lined with years of quiet resistance, slips Isaiah a laptop, its battery half-charged, scavenged from a thrift shop. Isaiah plugs in the USB, heart pounding, and uploads the data to a global whistleblower site, typing a headline, "Grayson's dirty money exposed." The files detailing millions in bribes to rig a Senate race for a racist candidate hit the internet, spreading to 100 million views in hours. Hashtags like #ICAM crash Horizon trending worldwide. News tickers flash federal raids on Horizon's Miami and New York offices, FBI agents carting out boxes, Grayson's stock plummeting to pennies, airports paralyzed as protests swell, travelers abandoning Horizon's counters, their signs bold with Isaiah's name. Social media erupts, videos of empty terminals and grounded planes flooding feeds, supporters sharing the leaked emails, some weeping for Angela, others raging at Grayson's empire. Isaiah refreshes the laptop, seeing a live stream of a raid, agents cuffing Horizon executives, and a spark of hope flares. The Senate plots exposure shaking Grayson's untouchable aura. The pastor's radio crackles, reporting Nathan's release on bail, the embezzlement frame-up weakened by public outcry, and Isaiah's chest loosens, his father's fierce hug a memory he clings to. Malik, despite his fever, grins, whispering, "We're close, kid." The pastor arranges a rendezvous, guiding them to a downtown hotel, its marble lobby a stark contrast to the church's damp basement. Isaiah and Malik slip through Miami's neon-lit streets, dodging police choppers, their spotlights sweeping, Grayson's drones likely tracking the USB's digital footprint. At the hotel, Nathan waits, his suit rumpled but eyes blazing, pulling Isaiah into an embrace, his voice thick. "You did it, son," he says, showing news of Horizon's board resigning, the raids crippling Grayson's grip. They plan to amplify the leak, Nathan contacting loyal lawyers to sue for Angela's release, the room buzzing with strategy, a war room against Grayson's empire. Isaiah, for the first time since the plane, feels victory near, his filmmaker's eye imagining a documentary, Angela free, Nathan leading, Malik healed. But Grayson, cornered in a secret safe house, his silver hair disheveled, watches the raids on a burner laptop, his fingers dialing a demolitions expert. With a senator's whispered approval, he triggers a gas leak in the hotel's basement, a silent killer rigged to spark. As Isaiah sketches a speech, the air grows heavy, a faint hiss unnoticed, and a spark ignites, flames exploding through the suite, glass shattering, the blast throwing Isaiah against a wall, his vision swimming. Fire roars, smoke choking his lungs, and he crawls, coughing blood, his ribs screaming, to find Nathan trapped under a fallen beam, his leg pinned, face ashen. Isaiah drags him, muscles burning, the USB still in his pocket, flames licking his sneakers, the hotel's alarms blaring. He hauls Nathan to a stairwell, blood staining his lips, each step a battle, the heat searing his back. They collapse outside, paramedics swarming, but a van screeches up, Grayson's mercenaries grabbing Isaiah, their tasers sparking, Nathan too weak to fight. Isaiah blacks out, waking chained in a hangar, its rusted walls echoing with jet fuel's tang, his wrists raw, blood crusting his mouth. Grayson looms, his voice cold, vowing to execute them on live TV, a broadcast to 120 million, titled Justice for Horizon. The camera's red light blinks, Nathan chained beside him, barely conscious, Angela's fate unknown, Malik left behind, wounded. The USB, miraculously unpocketed, is useless without a device, and Grayson's execution threat, laced with racial venom, aims to bury Isaiah's truth forever. The hangar's shadows deepen, mercenaries sharpening knives, their radios hissing with Grayson's orders, the live stream's comments flooding with hate, viewers swallowing the lie. Isaiah's vow, carved in the warehouse, flickers, his filmmaker's dream fading, but Nathan's faint groan stirs him, a reminder of their fight. The hangar's door creaks, a distant chopper's hum growing, Grayson's execution plan unfolding, and Isaiah tenses, his pulse a drumbeat, the USB his last spark, Grayson's blade glinting with finality. Isaiah Coleman wakes chained in the hangar, his cracked ribs screaming, blood crusting his lips. The USB drive's faint weight in his pocket, a fragile hope against Grayson's vow to execute him and Nathan on live TV, the camera's red light searing his eyes. Nathan, slumped beside him, barely breathes, his leg bloodied from the hotel explosion, Angela's kidnapping, and Malik's fevered collapse haunting Isaiah's mind. The hangar's jet fuel stench chokes him, mercenaries sharpening knives, their radios hissing with Grayson's orders, the live stream hitting 120 million views. comments spewing hate, branding Isaiah a terrorist. His carved vow, "I won't break," flickers, but a faint vibration, the USB's plastic against his thigh, stirs him. He twists, wrists raw, and finds a loose bolt in the chair, its edge sharp enough to saw his ropes, each scrape agonizing, blood slicking his fingers. The mercenaries, distracted by a chopper's hum, miss his struggle, and Isaiah frees himself, unchaining Nathan, who groans, eyes fluttering. Isaiah drags him behind a crate, heart pounding, the USB his only weapon. A mercenary turns, but Isaiah swings the bolt, cracking the man's jaw, stealing his radio, its static revealing Grayson's escape to Horizon's private jet at a nearby airstrip. Isaiah, fueled by rage for Angela, Nathan, and Malik, carries his father staggering through the hangar's side door, Miami's humid dawn thick with salt and exhaust. He hotwires a maintenance truck, its engine coughing, and speeds to the airstrip. Nathan slumped in the passenger seat muttering, "Save her." The airstrip looms, Horizon's jet gleaming, Grayson boarding with Karen Walsh, her sneer visible through the jet's window, her slur from the plane a spark that ignited this war. Isaiah ditches the truck, sneaking past guards, his rib stabbing, palms torn, but his filmmaker's eye sharp, spotting a guard's dropped phone. He grabs it, battery at 10%, and slips aboard the jet's cargo hold, its walls vibrating as engines roar. Inside, Grayson paces, barking orders, unaware of Isaiah's presence. Isaiah crawls through a maintenance hatch, emerging in the cabin, and tackles Grayson, fists flying, blood splattering the leather seats, his rib cracking further, pain blinding. Grayson fights back, his strength surprising, a knife slashing Isaiah's arm. But Isaiah pins him, ripping the USB from his pocket and jamming it into the jet's media console, hacked by Zoe's lessons. He records Grayson's snarls. "I paid senators to crush those people." The confession streaming live from the guard's phone. 150 million watching, hashtag spiking. Karen Walsh screams, pulling a pistol, her shot grazing Isaiah's shoulder, blood soaking his hoodie. But he ducks, the bullet shattering a window, wind howling. Grayson lunges, knife glinting, but a crash shakes the jet, fuel truck smashing. The landing gear, Malik at the wheel, his wounded arm bandaged, eyes fierce despite his fever. The jet lurches grounded, and protesters rallied by the livestream swarm the tarmac, their chants drowning the engines, fists pounding the fuselage. Isaiah kicks Grayson down, tying him with a seatbelt, the confession looping, viewers sharing clips, the internet ablaze with outrage. Karen fires again, but protesters breach the cabin, a woman with Zoe's braids disarming her, the crowd saving Isaiah as he collapses, blood pooling, Nathan crawling from the hold, alive. Police, pressured by the livestream, arrest Grayson, cuffs snapping, his silver hair disheveled, Karen dragged away spitting slurs. Nathan, limping, buys Horizon's bankrupt remains via phone, firing its board in a single call, the news breaking as ambulances wail. Isaiah's stream trends globally, 200 million views, his voice hoarse but defiant, calling for justice. Angela's fate still a shadow. Paramedics bandage his shoulder, the USB safe, but the crowd's cheers feel hollow. Grayson's senator allies whispering in the chaos, a lingering menace. Nathan hugs him, whispering, "We're not done." And Isaiah nods, his filmmaker's dream alive, the jet's wreckage a symbol. But the braids woman vanishes, a cryptic glance hinting at more. The airstrip's floodlights dim, police radios crackling, and Isaiah's pulse races, the confession's victory fragile. Grayson's empire cracked but not broken, a new threat brewing in the shadows. Isaiah Coleman leans against the airstrip's ambulance, his shoulder bandaged, the USB drive safe in his pocket. Its live-streamed confession of Grayson's racism still trending at 200 million views, the jet's wreckage smoldering behind. As Nathan, bruised but alive, finalizes Horizon's takeover on a burner phone. The protesters' cheers echo, police cuffing Grayson, but Isaiah's relief phrase, Angela's kidnapping unresolved, Malik's fevered sacrifice, and Zoe's cryptic glance gnawing at him. Miami's dawn air, thick with jet fuel and salt, carries a chill as news breaks. Grayson's senator allies in Congress, wielding backroom influence, destroy the confession footage, citing national security, their servers wiped clean, the live stream erased from platforms. By noon, a judge pocketed by Grayson's lobbying group grants him bail, his silver hair gleaming as he struts free, smirking on every channel, 180 million watching his vindication. Isaiah's gut twists. The victory on the jet, bought with blood and Malik's crash, stolen in hours. Nathan's face hardens. His takeover of Horizons remains stalling as regulators, swayed by the same senators, freeze his funds again, citing irregularities. Isaiah, now a fugitive once more, flees Miami. Nathan arranging a private flight to New York, where Angela might be held, her bound image haunting Isaiah's dreams. The plane lands in a gritty Queens airstrip, and Isaiah slips into the city's maze, his hoodie pulled low, shoulder throbbing, rib aching. New York's alleys reeking of piss and garbage become his refuge, but Grayson's assassins stalk him, their silenced pistols glinting in the neon glow, hired by the lobbying group. To silence him, he dodges a shot, the bullet grazing a dumpster, and sprints, heart-hammering, weaving through crowds, his torn palms bleeding anew. A newsstand TV blares Grayson's latest smear. Nathan, a fraud. His tech empire a scam. The lobbying group, flooding media with forged audits, turning supporters against him. Social media, once Isaiah's ally, churns with hate. His 200 million view stream buried under bots calling him a liar, a thug, a terrorist. He ducks into a bodega, its fluorescent lights buzzing, the clerk eyeing his bloodied hands, and checks his burner phone, finding a hacked alert. Karen Walsh, free on a technicality, leads a hate mob in Miami, torching Isaiah's childhood home, its clappered walls where he filmed his first skits now ash. The feed, viewed by 90 million, shows Karen screaming slurs, her taunt painted on the rubble. "You lose, boy." Isaiah's knees buckle, memories of Angela's cooking, Malik's skate tricks, and Nathan's bedtime stories burning with the house, Grayson's cruelty slicing deeper than the jet's knife. He stumbles into an alley, rain soaking his hoodie, the USB his only spark, its Senate rigging data useless without a platform. Police sirens wail, choppers sweeping, and an assassin's shadow moves, a blade flashing, forcing Isaiah to climb. A fire escape, its rusted rungs creaking, his ribs stabbing with each step. He hides on a rooftop, the city's skyline mocking his isolation, Nathan in hiding, Angela captive, Malik wounded, Zoe missing. A text pings the burner from an unknown number. "Find us, Brooklyn." It's Zoe, alive, leading a resistance network, her braids flashing in his mind from the jet's rescue. He treks to a Brooklyn warehouse, its brick walls tagged with murals, slipping past NYPD drones, their red beams hunting him. Inside, Zoe waits, her buzz cut sharp, eyes fierce, surrounded by hackers and activists, their laptops humming. ShadowNet, reborn. She reveals Grayson's new plan, buried in the USB's files, buying media outlets to control the narrative, ensuring his racist lobbying group's laws pass unchecked. The network recruits Isaiah, his filmmaker's eye vital to expose Grayson's media grab, but Zoe warns of traitors, even among allies. The senators reach deep. Isaiah's resolve reignites, the USB's data a blade to wield, but his home's ashes, Angela's silence, and Nathan's smeared name weigh like chains. Zoe hands him a new burner, its screen blank, and a laptop, urging him to film again, his voice a weapon Grayson fears. The warehouse's lights flicker, a distant explosion, rumbling, police raids closing in, Grayson's assassins tracking the burner's signal. Isaiah grips the USB, his vow to fight, born in the warehouse's torture. Now a roar. But the rooftop's blade, Karen's taunt, and the senator's erasure loom. Grayson's empire striking back. The resistance's plan fragile. He starts, recording. His voice hoarse, the city's pulse beneath him. But a shadow shifts outside, a sniper's scope glinting. Grayson's hunters poised to end him, the media by a step from completion. Isaiah Coleman stands in the Brooklyn warehouse, the USB drive's Senate rigging data pulsing in his hand, Zoe's resistance network buzzing around him, their laptops casting frantic shadows as Grayson's sniper scope glints outside, a chilling echo of the New York alleys and his burned childhood home. The air smells of coffee and solder, the weight of Angela's kidnapping, Nathan's smeared name, and Malik's sacrifice pressing his cracked rib. But Zoe's fierce eyes ignite his resolve. His filmmaker's heart, battered by Karen Walsh's, mob and Grayson's media lies, sees a final strike. A nationwide boycott to crash Grayson's plan to buy media outlets, a scheme to silence truth forever. Isaiah boots the laptop, his torn palm steady, and records a call to action, his voice raw but commanding, urging millions to shun Grayson's targeted networks, their logos flashing in his mind from the USB's files. He uploads it, the video, hitting 300 million views in hours, hashtags like Match or Boycott Grayson flooding feeds, viewers sharing clips of empty newsrooms, advertisers pulling funds, Grayson's media deal collapsing as stocks plummet, $150 million in deals evaporating. Zoe's hackers amplify the boycott, hijacking billboards to flash Isaiah's face, not as wanted, but as a hero. 2 billion watching globally. Nathan, hiding in a safe house, seizes the chaos, finalizing Horizon's shutdown via encrypted calls, rehiring fired minority staff pilots and attendants like Malik Jackson. Their contracts signed as Grayson's empire crumbles. Federal agents, spurred by worldwide outrage and the USB's Senate rigging proof, raid Grayson's safe house, cuffing him for life, his silver hair matted, no senator to save him. The arrest livestreamed to 400 million. Karen Walsh already jailed for the mob's arson. Isaiah, slipping from the warehouse, joins a rally in Times Square, its neon lights blazing 50,000 strong, their signs demanding justice for Angela, freed hours ago, her nurse's scrubs pristine as she hugs him, tears soaking his hoodie. Nathan arrives limping but unbroken, his takeover complete. Horizon reborn as a symbol of equity, its new board Black, Latino, Asian, a defiance of Grayson's racism. Isaiah, rib aching, shoulder scarred, mounts a stage, his viral film. A montage of the plane slur, school bombing, warehouse torture, and jet confession, playing on massive screens, inspiring billions, 5 billion views, and counting. Comments, flooding with clenched fists and hearts. He speaks, voice hoarse. We tore down their hate, but the fight's not over. The crowd roaring, Angela's hand in his, Nathan's nod fueling him. Zoe climbs beside him, her buzz cut sharp, and whispers a bombshell, her voice low, eyes darting. Karen Walsh, the flight attendant, was a senator's sister, orchestrating a new hate group from prison, its manifesto leaked by ShadowNet, planning attacks on minority communities, a shadow network Grayson funded. Isaiah's blood runs cold, Karen's slur on the plane, her mob's taunt, now a senator's plot. The jet's confession only a piece of a larger machine. He vows to expose them, his filmmaker's eye already framing a new film, the USB's data a blueprint. But Zoe points to the crowd's edge, a sniper's scope glinting, not Grayson's, but the hate group's, a larger enemy watching. There, reach deeper than senators, their shadows stretching beyond the rally's lights. Isaiah grips the mic, his words a blade, calling out the hate group. The crowd's cheers drowning his fear, Angela's grip tightening, Nathan's eyes fierce. The film's views climb, 6 billion, a global uprising. But the scope's glint lingers, a promise of war. Isaiah steps off the stage, the USB in his pocket. Zoe's hackers ready, Nathan's empire rising. Angela safe, but the sniper's aim shifts, a new threat born. The rally's triumph a spark in a brewing storm. Times Square pulses, its screens looping Isaiah's film, the boycott's wreckage burying Grayson's media dreams, federal cuffs locking his wrists, Horizon's minority staff rehired, but Karen's hidden network, the senator's blood, weaves. A noose, Isaiah's vow to fight now a battle cry against an unseen foe. The scope's red dot a warning, his family's safety fragile, the city's neon fading as a chopper's hum grows. The hate group's first move poised to strike. The story of Isaiah Coleman in Flight Attendant Yells at Black Teen, then his father shuts down the airline, is a powerful testament to resilience against systemic racism. Isaiah, a 16-year-old filmmaker, faces relentless racial injustice, from Karen Walsh's slur on a plane to Victor Grayson's orchestrated terror, including bombings, kidnappings, and smears targeting his black family. The key lesson is the unyielding strength of community and truth. Isaiah's viral videos, peaking at 6 billion views, and Zoe's resistance network show that collective action can dismantle even the most powerful oppressors, like Grayson, whose media empire and Senate rigging crumbled under public pressure. Yet the shocking twist, Karen's tie to a senator's hate group, reveals racism's deep roots, teaching us that victories are fragile without vigilance. Isaiah's vow, "I won't break," carved in torture, underscores personal defiance, while Nathan's Horizon takeover, rehiring minority staff, proves economic power can shift narratives. Angela's survival and Malik's sacrifice highlight love and loyalty as anchors in chaos. The story warns that systemic racism, backed by senators and snipers, evolves, demanding constant resistance. For every boycott or live stream, a new threat emerges, urging us to stay united and vocal. This tale inspires action. Share your voice, expose injustice, and build coalitions as Isaiah did to challenge hate. Call to action. How would you fight a hidden hate group like Karen's? Comment below. Hit like if you stand against racism, subscribe for more stories of resistance, and share to amplify truth. Thank you for joining Isaiah's journey. May you find courage to confront injustice daily.